Jalen Hurts is Lamar? Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's great to be here with all of you. Gavin will be joining us in just a couple of minutes. It is 12 o'clock here on the East Coast, and it's great to be here again with all you. Looking forward to a very exciting show covering all the major sports. We got some breaking news coming in. We got a couple other updates with the coronavirus. With the NFL, we all know how we feel about that. We'll have to go into that and analyze again for those just tuning in. Gavin told me to join us in a few minutes, but a couple of breaking news here. Yesterday, we talked about Le'Veon Bell. We talked about the utter disaster that the New York Jets are, and I can't get started with the New York Jets. I hate the Jets, and here's why. You have a team, right, that's been rebuilding forever. The Jets are a dumpster fire ever since the butt fumble, ever since all that happened. The Jets have been an utter disaster, okay? And so you go out and you get a guy like Sam Darnold, first ever throw the pick six. You fire the coach after that season. I don't understand why you bring in a rookie quarterback, just to fire the head coach after that year. So that's the first flaw. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you bring in Adam Gase, who was horrible. And you should know this. You know why you should know this? It's pretty simple. You played against them twice a year. You played against the Dolphins. They were terrible. The Dolphins weren't good. Ryan Tannehill, he's good now. He wasn't good back then. Kenyon Drake was irrelevant. No one even knew who Devontae Parker was. You got Mike Gesicki there on his rookie deal. And then all of a sudden now they're good. And look at that. Better coach, different coach. All right? And so that same guy who destroyed the Dolphins, I guess not destroyed them, they were mediocre at best, but that same coach who went to the Dolphins and did terrible for them, the Jets bring in. All right? And now let's talk about the third mistake the Jets make. All right? The third mistake is pretty simple. All right? You give him general management power. I don't get this. I hate every time I see a head coach get general management or front office power, it ends up as an utter disaster. You want some examples? It's pretty simple. I'm sure you can find some that otherwise disagree with what I'm saying here. Kyle Shanahan, a couple others. But let's be clear. Okay? Number one, you have Chip Kelly. Any Eagles fan. We had DeMarco Murray on the show. You want to talk about some of the situations of how Chip Kelly mishandled it. It went horrible. You get rid of Deshaun. First of all, you cut Deshaun Jackson. You don't even get anything for him. Okay? You try to force this new system of Riley Cooper, and you bring in DeMarco Murray, and you just don't use him correctly. Nick Foles wasn't good under you. Nick Foles was good under the previous guy, or even the first year that he was here before he started messing with stuff. And unfortunately, Nick goes down and gets hurt. Chip Kelly utterly spins out and gets fired. Doug Peterson comes in. We know that whole fun story there. So that's number one. Doug Peterson, by the way, has no general management front office control, just so everybody knows that. Okay, Jim Schwartz does, and we'll talk about that later because the defense is an utter disaster. But we're talking about the Jets right now. All right, the second one. Look at Houston. Look what Bill O'Brien did to the Texans. All right, getting Deshaun Watson was good. Bill O'Brien came from the Bill Belichick tree. We thought it was going to be a good tree. But look what he did to that team. You got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, the best wide receiver. I don't care what anyone says. I love Julio Jones. I think I actually do like Michael Thomas, contrary to popular belief. I think it's impressive to be able to run slants and be undefended. But look what Bill O'Brien did to that franchise. First of all, he said horrible things to DeAndre Hopkins. And again, I think Hopkins has the best hands, the best agility, and everything like that. And you trade him for nothing. All right? So that's my point. Let's go back to the Jets, and I'll pull in Gavin here. I see that he's down here. We're going to bring him in just a second. All right? Here's what I want to make very clear. You give Adam Gase front office control. What does he do? He gets rid of the best safety in football. There's another kid out on the Chargers, no disrespect to him. But Jamal Adams is the best strong safety in the league. And you trade him because he can't get along with your who? Head coach. You don't get rid of that level of talent. You bring Le'Veon Bell in. Why? How'd you get Le'Veon Bell? Because of Jamal Adams. They had a little Twitter fight after Adams got traded to Seattle. And now Le'Veon Bell putting up prayer signs after getting cut. All right? It's horrible. This organization, the Jets, are a mess. They're going to tank for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence isn't fixing your problem. Sam Darnold's not half bad. I don't love him as much as a lot of other sports commentators like him. A lot of people say that they like him a lot. He's made some great throws. He gets underrated because that team is an utter disaster. And you let Robbie Anderson go. That's three guys. Three guys that you let go. Jamal Adams for almost nothing. You get a safety from them who just is nowhere near as talented as Jamal Adams. You cut Le'Veon Bell and you eat a lot of dead cap because your O-line's horrible and you just don't know how to use him correctly. He also slipped off and was not worth anywhere near that money when he decided to take a year off and bet on himself, and it didn't work out well. And then you let Robbie Anderson go. You make no attempt to bring him back. And you wonder why you can't win a game. Fire this man. Please. I'm not going to bring in Gavin. Gavin, I hope you enjoy that entertainment to a certain extent. I mean, I have to get it out because yesterday we talked about it. Today I had a little bit more time to be a little more animated. But someone explained to me, like, why do you give this man front office power? Why do you let him destroy your franchise? And now you're going back into rebuild unnecessarily.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologize for my late and tardiness. I had to handle a little something on the school side. Zach, I love the animated, but here's the thing too. You missed on a couple things. They gave Bill O'Brien the same thing in Houston, Texas, and look what happens, Zach. You lose to Jaden Conley, you lose AJ Boye, and you lose DeAndre Hopkins. And guess what? In a matter of 3 years, look at Deshaun Watson. He looks like a mess down there. No disrespect to him. I love Deshaun Watson, Zach. You give Deshaun Watson what? David Johnson, who has been good since 2015, Zach? 2015. Will Fuller's now true number one. Brandon Cooks is past time, all right? And so is Kenny Stills. Oh, my God. That offensive line is awful. Do they have offensive line? No. And Zach, I know we're talking about
this. They have the highest paid tackle. It's not paying dividends.
Yeah, well, guess what? He can't do everything, and it's not doing anything because Deshaun Watson still getting killed from the left side. Zach, I know you're talking about the Jets, but the reason why I bring it up is look at the two scenarios, right? Look at them. Adam Gase had Jamal Adams, the best safety in all football. All right, well, you can put Derwin James in there, Zach, but Derwin James has been hurt for the past 2 seasons. Not his fault, but Zach, we acknowledge both of them. You have Le'Veon Bell, who, by the way, threw up prayer symbols and said, "Thank you, I'm out of here," because you know what? Adam Gase is that trash that your own players are leaving. They are leaving, and they're doing better, and they're happier without you.
Hold on, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you have a good point here. And I named it before you got on here. I don't know if you were on that point, but Ryan Tannehill, Kenyon Drake, Devontae Parker, Jamal Adams, probably going to be Le'Veon Bell. He's probably going to look like himself again. How many more people? Robbie Anderson is a top 5 fantasy wide receiver right now in Carolina with Bridgewater thrown to him. Sam Darnold's got more raw talent than Bridgewater. Bridgewater's the better polished quarterback. He's had a great story. I'm rooting for him. I'm happy to see Carolina doing well. But Sam Darnold, there should be no excuses here. You get Denzel Mims. He's not doing much for you right now. I mean, who else you got? Jamison Crowder, Ryan Griffin, the tight end, who looked kind of talented last year. What is the matter with this team?
Zach, there's another thing I'm going to point at you now. I want your thought on this. Did you know who the Jets brought in, by the way? They brought in C.J. Mosley. Where the hell is he at? C.J. Mosley, for those who may or may not know, he was in Baltimore. He was a Pro Bowler. He was a stud. Now he's hot trash. Everything Adam Gase touches turns to mush. Ndamukong Suh goes to Miami. He was doing a good job in Detroit. He goes to Miami, and it looks like pure garbage. It hasn't been right since. Zach, why? Sam Darnold, right? And ladies and gentlemen, I was never a fan of Todd Bowles getting fired. Todd Bowles did a great job, in my honest opinion. You had Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you had that was the last time the Jets are good. Zach, they went 10-6. They missed the playoffs.
And Rex Ryan before that too. I mean, that was
and he didn't do a bad job either.
Championships.
Exactly. So why does this man have a job in the NFL when a guy like Eric the Enemy can't get one? Why has Bill O'Brien had a job and can't get one? Dan Quinn hasn't done anything since the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, who blew 28 points. I blew a lead, by the way, and he's still doing it. Why can't E-Man get a job? Huh? Why is that? Arguably the best offensive talented coach. I'm not saying Eric the Enemy is going to do a fantastic job, but damn it, he deserves a chance. Jack, did you know Eric the Enemy interviewed for a job 10 times and did not get it? Did not get it? Did you know that? That was something that was brought to our analytics class after you. I don't think you were there, but me and our analytics teacher, we talked about it. Eric the Enemy had 10 job interviews and not get one. He didn't get one of them. But you're telling me a guy like Adam Gase can get the job?
I don't know why people continue to bring these guys in. I mean, I don't understand. Like you said, I mean, one of the best offensive coaches. You win the Super Bowl. What more do you want from these guys? What more do you want?
Enemy developed Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid didn't. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that.
And Frank Reich developed Carson Wentz, not Doug Peterson.
And
he got a job with the Colts. You're right.
Exactly. But Eric Enemy doesn't have a job yet. I hope he gets one. I really do.
He deserves it.
Excuse me. If he gets the job in Houston, Do you know what he could do with Deshaun Watson?
That'd be a great fit. Are you kidding me? Going to Houston with that kind of talent?
I just don't get why garbage people keep getting rewarded with jobs.
Welcome to the NFL.
You need to do something about that, especially in the general management market too.
Everywhere. I mean, if you suck at your job, you shouldn't. Like, if you suck at your job in the real world, you're fired. You're done. If you suck at your job in the NFL, you get an extension usually. But we'll continue talking about that later. Coming up next, some breaking news on behalf of the NBA. We're going to talk about that. We'll touch on this again, I'm sure. We'll find a way to circle back to the disaster Adam Gase says he better get fired next. But we'll talk about that later. We'll get some more on the NBA right after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewer's choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome back, everyone, here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's a absolutely fantastic time here to break some recent news. Anthony Davis has announced that he is opting out of his current deal and is planning on re-signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. Gavin, I gotta ask you this. Does this make the Lakers instantly the favorite to win the NBA Finals next year?
Well, wherever Anthony Davis goes, he's going to be the favorite. Wherever, if he went to Golden State and went there, he's going to be an instant favorite. Because that's what Anthony Davis does, Zach. That's what Anthony Davis does. What I was trying to bring to you the whole playoffs is look at the impact Anthony Davis has on this team. Anthony Davis goes down and gets in foul trouble. They don't look as efficiently offensively at all. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James has not dominated the league in the past 3 years. And I'm not saying he wasn't the best player, but he wasn't dominating the league in the past 3 years. Zach, you remember the year where Anthony Davis was in the MVP conversation when he had a triple-double in blocks? That was the last year in New Orleans, or second to last year in New Orleans.
Yeah, right before the injuries, quote unquote.
Do you know exactly? Do you know the impact Anthony Davis can have on a team? If you switch Joel Embiid with Anthony Davis and kept Ben Simmons and everybody else, do you know how better the Sixers would be? I'm not saying Joel Embiid's a slouch because I argue with
just from the shooting perspective, just from the all they can do all perspective.
Exactly. Now his help was always the biggest question mark around.
Now you swap Al Horford out with Anthony Davis, that team's not losing the game.
Well, first of all, you swap Al Horford out with a bag of cookies.
I'm saying he's a stretch forward. They wanted Horford to be a stretch forward this year. Anthony Davis would have fit perfectly here.
My thing is, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say is Anthony Davis, this is smart for him. I wouldn't sign a long-term deal because you don't know how long LeBron's going to stay.
Why? I thought Anthony Davis can win it by himself.
He can, but I'm just saying.
So why can't he sign a big deal?
It's the same thing with Kyrie Irving. It's the same thing.
Kyrie can't win without LeBron either?
Listen. Well, first of all, Kyrie Irving's probably going to win next year. All right, but here's the thing.
Yeah, we got Kevin Durant.
Well, exactly. But here's
no slouch who you called the best player in the league.
He is the best player in the league.
Clip, so that's not Kyrie.
Here's what I'm trying to say here. Because we had this argument earlier in the week. If you remove Anthony Davis and leave LeBron James with what he had, they would go to the playoffs. Exactly. Would they go all the way? No.
Well, if you remove Anthony Davis, you got to put Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and Brandon Ingram back on the team.
No. But if you keep this,
reverse the trade. Reverse the trade. LeBron.
Okay, reverse the trade. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
If it was the bubble environment, if Paul George was off the way he was, I think they would still make the NBA Finals.
So, but I think Anthony Davis on a good day, 85% Anthony Davis is better than half the league alone.
I agree. That's a true statement.
I still take Anthony Davis regardless whether LeBron's there or not. I'm saying it's a little bit risky because we already praised. I don't know. For me, I kind of view Anthony Davis as a Hall of Famer in the making. And what I mean by in the making is he's doing things we don't see before.
He provides a little bit of everything.
A little bit.
The three-pointer, the defense, the stretch abilities, the post-up. He's a more center-built, like center, like the position center. He's more of a center-built Kevin Durant, if you get what I mean. Kevin Durant's more slender, I'd say, if you get that. Anthony Davis is more stocky. Both have very similar talents.
Similar talents, but the only thing that separates him and Kevin Durant, and I won't even say it by a lot, I just think the ball handle and Kevin Durant is the major stick out versus him and Anthony Davis. And maybe shooting and better shooting.
He's more guard built. He can play a guard. Anthony Davis can't, but Anthony Davis can also play center.
Exactly.
So you do think if that, assuming he resigns with the Lakers, they're the favorites next year.
I I I mean
You,
that's
you said it. You said earlier. You said earlier in the show.
they're going to
Whoever he
be
signs with.
they're going to be the favorites wherever he signs with. They're going to be the favorites. But will they go next year? That's the real question. The Warriors are coming back. Brooklyn is about to enter the chat now. All right. Daryl Morey just got fired. Zach, I was about to ask you
That's
about
a
that.
report. Yep.
And we don't know the direction of what free agency is. Giannis staying? Is Giannis leaving? I think Giannis is out. We don't know yet.
Did you read the report about the Mavericks?
I did not.
It said that they're going to heavily pursue him. You know who predicted that?
You.
Oh yeah.
I said what I said Golden State, right? I said Golden State.
I mean, anybody would be a perfect fit.
They can use the second pick and get him. They can use the second pick and get him.
You could, unless they draft somebody, but we'll have to see what happens there. So I do have to ask you then. We'll shift gears now talking about the Houston Rockets. They just fired their GM. For those who don't know, he was in hot water last year with a whole bunch of different situations. So it's been an up and down ride. What do the Rockets plan on doing this offseason? They're probably going to hire Tyronn Lue. I'm going to say that now. I think that they're going to hire him unless they bring in Sam Gundy, who hasn't coached in forever, but looks like he might go to the Pelicans. So bring in Tyronn Lue. What are some other steps you can see them making?
Well, I think Jeff Van Gundy is the head guy in that aspect. Look, this is where Daryl Morey lost his job. And I know Dom, our great friend of the show, is not going to like what I'm about to say here. Daryl Morey lost his job when he got rid of Clint Capella. Because you saw what happened in the playoffs. They got outmanned. Look at what
You got to try something different at some point, right? You have a guy like Russell Westbrook now. You can't have a guy stocking up the paint.
but Zach, you should have found yourself an offensive type center. Maybe I'm not talking like a Christian Wood, someone that could stand on it and knock down a three. Somebody like you didn't find a replacement.
Go get Brook Lopez, honestly.
You could have got Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez probably would have went. That's the best fit. Like I said, Christian Wood. The thing what ran Daryl Morey really out was the fact that he didn't get anybody, and the same thing keeps happening in Houston. And I do believe that Daryl Morey's comments about China last year was kind of the starting point. And then when you had Carmelo Anthony go on First Take with his interview, talk about how him and Daryl Morey handled their business, that was probably another point as well. Because Carmelo Anthony had a nice year with Portland. But Zach, the direction of Houston Rockets is really uncertain.
It's James Harden's team, and James Harden, in my opinion, is not enough of a team player to be able to take them all the way, if you get what I mean. Because you got, like we said, you got with the Lakers Rockets series, the Rockets need to have a higher field goal percentage in 4 games, and they didn't.
Shaquille
Great. James Harden defense, oh my goodness, he clutched up this year. He silenced some doubters on that. But they need to play the better team ball. I don't think Russell Westbrook was the right fit. I don't know who is, honestly. I could see a defensive
it was a good
there and working with him, but I don't know.
It was a good idea if Russell Westbrook could shoot the ball.
He couldn't though.
Shooter anymore. He never really was the best shooter, but he wasn't the worst. Zach,
he could knock down shots. He got respect.
The real reason why the Rockets won't win a championship is because of James Harden's play style. You can't sit there and dribble out the clock and then kick it to somebody like a Gordon. Like, okay, Eric Gordon made it work, but not always. All right, you can't hit PJ Tucker consistently. Russell Westbrook.
How many teammates do both Russell Westbrook and James Harden need before they can go to a championship? Look at the talent that they both had. First of all, start with the Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook team. What happened there? They fell short in the Western Conference Final.
They didn't want to James Harden.
They go to the NBA Finals. Gavin, who do they lose to?
Finally got a championship. They lost to LeBron James. But Zach,
lost to Miami Heat.
I'm gonna say the best Oklahoma City Thunder team for Russell Westbrook was when he had his own team, or the year that Kevin Durant left when they were up 3-1. And all you haters, all you Warriors haters, yes, they blew a 3-1 first. Remember that. They did too.
That's when Kevin Durant was on the team.
That's when Kevin Durant was on the team. Zach.
Yeah, what happened the next series, just real quick?
Klay Thompson snapped. That's what happened. Klay Thompson was born, and Warriors going to win 3 straight after that, and Kevin Durant leaves.
And they go to the NBA Finals. What happened there?
All right, but listen, that's not the point. We're not talking about LeBron. See, this is why LeBron fans are the worst, because they're always
it's part of the conversation.
We're not talking about LeBron. No one cares about LeBron today. We're not talking about LeBron today. Or right now, at least. You want to get into the GOAT debate? Fine, let's argue about it on Friday. Let's do it. All right, let me get some water and we'll argue about it on Friday. We're not talking about LeBron today. Here's the thing, Zach. What I'm trying to say is Russell Westbrook's best team was that year they blew the 3-1 lead, or the year when he won MVP, and you could argue and
Paul George too, Steven Adams. I mean, he's had so much. What more does he need? Billy Donovan's a great coach.
I do agree with KD should have stayed, but here's the thing with KD. Here's the thing about Kevin Durant. They were having problems that whole year, Zach. Do you remember that? It was about who was taking the final shot. Russell Westbrook was taking the final shot, and he was missing.
And you're telling me the Nets are gonna have no issues this year. Fine, okay.
I mean, but Kevin Durant proved himself to be the guy that can hit the final shot. Both of them can do it.
You're right. Look at that Clipper series last year. Pat Bev got in his face. Kevin Durant got 40 points that next game.
You're right, but here's the thing. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. This is what's going to test Steve Nash. Who really is going to get the final shot in? Because they both can do it. I mean, Zach, who did to LeBron James back-to-back years with the same shot?
You can go Kevin Durant or.
And then you can come out and say that who hit the game winner? Who? Not LeBron. Kyrie Irving hit the shot with Steph Curry.
But who stopped the go ahead?
Did that put points on the board? Did it put points on the board right away? It did not. Was that the deciding factor? No, was not. But
you're telling me that the Andre Iguodala block has nothing to do with the fact they won that game.
Did he hit the shot?
They would have been only up by 2 instead of up by 4 at the end of the game.
Did he hit the shot?
Kyrie hit the shot. It's a team effort.
Yeah, but did that block? Did LeBron?
Do you not recall in our class yesterday when Steve Kerr's name was mentioned as a player with Michael Jordan?
Of course,
he had to have someone else hit the shot. He put you in position for that.
Steve Kerr hit the shot. Michael Jordan gave it to him.
Exactly.
Michael Jordan gave it to him.
Danny Green could have sunk it for the win, but his team's not as talented as that Bulls team. But
Danny Green, listen, his better days are with Kawhi.
You're right, they are.
He chose the wrong LA team.
He's under the wrong pressure. He's gonna go back. They could have ran it back in Toronto, but coming up after this,
they really should have. I honestly think they should have. That would have been more interesting to watch.
It would have been. I really agree for sure. But coming up after this, the Dodgers were ticked off in that first inning. Holy moly! We'll talk about that after this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Welcome back, everyone, here on the More Than Philly Sports Show on this Thursday edition. No Thursday Night Football tonight. Was going to be Bills Chiefs, but we will be predicting next. That would have been a good game.
That was going to be a good game. You're right.
That was going to be a good game for once. For once, it was going to be a good game. But I just ask you, Gavin, let's talk about the NLCS first before we get to the ALCS. Those teams that won last night were deep in a hole, and they were able to prevail. But how about them Dodgers? How about that offensive first inning?
See, Zach, the Dodgers started to figure out in game 2 at the end of the game. They scored 6 runs in the 9th inning. Can't fall short. So what was it, right on the mound last night? He got lit up, ladies and gentlemen. And when I mean lit up, he got
he was.
He got torched. There's no nice way to put it. Zach, they scored 11 runs in the first inning. And Max
15 total, they held them to 3?
Held them to 3. Do I think that happens again? No. Kershaw's on the mound, but Kershaw has a bad history in the NLCS. He has an ERA of 4.6. He has an ERA of 4.6 in the NLCS. But Zach, I knew that was going to happen. I knew the Dodgers were going to get a game. I didn't think they're going to snap. But here's a real question. Do you think the Dodgers shot the load in one game? Because sometimes you see teams score, like that might be the end total for
that could be it. They could get shut out tonight. They could absolutely get shut out tonight.
They could get shut out tonight. They can come out and do the same thing. But that's what normally the total amount of points scored in the whole series is. And they did it all in one game. So you hope they don't shoot the load.
Yeah, you hope so. So, I mean, tonight, that's going to be the next game. It is 2-1 the series. Not an elimination game, but this other game is the Houston Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays play today at 5:07. The Astros barely starving off elimination yesterday. They've been in every game, I think. They've been in every game, at least games 2 and games 3, as well as game 4, obviously. With that, it's a 3-1 lead. Right now, it was 3-0 yesterday, but the Astros were able to pull away with a win. Gavin, what are your thoughts on this game? Did the Rays put the final touches on tonight?
Well, they must have pulled out the trash cans and start hitting them last night. I'm just, ladies and gentlemen, just joking. Listen, Zach, this is a former team with a lot of championship DNA. All right, they're not going to go down easy. They're going to go down swinging. like the Dodgers are. I do believe that the Rays get it finished tonight. But I think Blake Snell's on the mound tonight. Look, Tyler Glasnow got. I don't want to say he got lit up because he went strong. He gave up a home run to Altuve and a home run to George Springer. And that was kind of it, and a nice little double Altuve. But Zach, they fought back at the end. The tying run was on the plate, and he hits a fly ball in the right center field, or excuse me, the go ahead run. I do believe that the Astros were going to win. You put Zach Greinke on the mound. He was dealing, by the way. He's 4 shy of 100 Ks in the postseason.
It's crazy. That's
Zach, I gotta ask you.
Stat that is.
But Zach, I gotta ask you, and I'll let you go. When you look at this Rays team, and you say, you know what? Okay, do you think they get the job done tonight, or do you think they're in trouble? Because I don't believe they're in trouble yet.
I think the Astros put one more down their throat and make them a little concerned, but I still see the Rays winning the series.
All depends on who's on the mound tonight for me. If it's Blake Snell, I think they get the job done tonight. Even though the long ball has kind of bit Blake Snell in the postseason, but I think you get the job done tonight.
Now here's this question. What about this Braves series? Do the Dodgers pull back and even it up at 2? Tonight's the most important game. I said this before with basketball. It can be 2-2 or 3-1 real quick.
Well, Zach, you got the best guy to do it on the mound, but listen, Zach, you know better than I do as a baseball player. Back spasms or back tightness is not what you want to hear. It's the same thing.
Any form of discomfort for a pitcher will throw him off his rhythm.
Any arm, back, hips, anything. Like in golf, it will be hips and back and shoulder. But you don't want to hear discomfort because it just doesn't go away easily. It doesn't go away easily. Zach, I don't think the Dodgers win tonight. I do believe Kershaw has a nice outing. But the one thing with Kershaw that always gets him every year in the playoffs is he doesn't want to leave when it's time for him to go. He extends the stay for a little too long.
And that's the manager tonight. I mean, you're talking about if your manager is the issue or not. Tonight's going to be the night to figure that out.
He did it, and he did it versus the Brewers, but it turned out to be a good thing. He was dealing versus the Brewers, but this Atlanta's offense can strike at any moment, at any point in the lineup. Freddie Freeman's also hitting well versus lefties. That's another scary factor you got to put in play.
Yeah, we'll see. They got to not only stop the Atlanta offense, but they got to turn up their offense of their own. So we'll see how that goes. We'll recap it tomorrow. Tomorrow as well, we'll be doing NFL predictions as well as a preview for Sunday's game. Just a fun fact here. It is the title of today's show. Jalen Hurts has been playing as Lamar Jackson this week. It might help the Eagles a lot. It might prepare them a little bit more than we think, but nothing can replace the true athleticism of Lamar Jackson.
And can we, first of all, Lamar Jackson, I finished my efficiency project, Zach. And let me just tell you, this man, Lamar Jackson, had our analytics teacher say, God, this guy is good. And damn it, he is good. I know they're struggling offensively right now, but that's what happens when you don't have a true number one wide receiver. Your best receiver is your tight end. And we know you can only throw to your tight end so much. Look what happened in the playoffs. You can't throw to Mark Andrews 50,000 times.
And you play a better team, they'll shut him down.
Shut him down. Obviously, this Eagles defense isn't that good, especially in linebacker. So Mark Andrews will have a weekend to remember. That's the mecca of what's been going on the past 2 weeks. You give up 14 catches to
George Kittle.
Give up 4 touchdowns to a dude named Claypool, which makes no sense to me. That last name has no relevance whatsoever. Claypool, I don't know what that is. But Zach, the key for this Eagles team to win this weekend is stopping Lamar Jackson's run.
Outscore him.
You got to outscore him. They didn't put up that many points last week versus the Bengals. They only put up 27. That was more defense. That was more the defense. But going back to the original question, Zach, before we go, that's how I like the Jalen Hurts pick so much, because this is a style of NFL that it's going to. The mobile quarterback is starting to be a new thing. That's the new mecca or the new meta, whatever you want to call it. Mobile quarterbacks. Look at Pat Mahomes. Look at Lamar Jackson. I wish Russell had a mobile quarterback. I think they would win, but it's one of those things where the game is changing.
It is. Colin Coward pointed out to Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, even Mahomes moves around. Josh Allen as well.
You say Aaron Rodgers as well.
The Eagles, yeah, Aaron Rodgers has always been good on his feet. Dak Prescott, of course, is mobile.
Cam Newton.
And then you have guys like Phillip Rivers who are still stuck in the past, but we'll see what happens.
Ryan as well. Matt Ryan uses his head. Hey, real quick, Matt Ryan to the Colts. You like that? Yes or no?
Matt Ryan to the Colts. I like Carson Wentz to the Colts.
You like Carson Wentz to the Colts?
Carson Wentz for Quentin Nelson in a second rounder.
You really think they're going to give that up? I mean, they get desperate, they will.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm not a big fan of the trade. I've just seen it floated around given that Frank Reich is there. But With that being said, Nelson Aguilar is the only wide receiver to have a perfect passer rating when targeted this year. Just thought I'd end the show with a fun fact.
Hey, how is that really fun fact? It's crazy how he wants to start catching the ball. But mark my words, the Raiders might win the AFC West.
They might. They just beat the Chiefs
Might.
big time.
They might. They made the AFC West catchable now.
Just showing you, Derek Carr, MVP season, gets hurt, struggles, new coach. 2 years later, arguably back.
And if Le'Veon Bell,
Take note, Eagle. Take note before you say bench.
if Le'Veon Bell does go to the Chiefs, which I don't like the move at all because
Yeah, but at least you save yourself from wearing a LeBron jersey or shirt because it's not going to the Bears now.
Well, listen, I wasn't gonna.
Chiefs Bills. What's it?
I wasn't gonna. See, here you go again. Bring up LeBron James. We're
Oh,
talking.
no, because that was our bet yesterday.
But listen. I was never gonna. I said the hat. All right, I said the hat, and I'm
Yeah, maybe okay.
okay. My hair's too long enough. So that's why I was picking the hat. Wouldn't even fit on screen.
No, but seriously, we'll see. He'll probably go to the Chiefs, honestly, and he'll probably have a really good year to end there. Him and Clyde that were in that backfield. G.
It's the one. That like I was telling you yesterday. It's the game is changing. Mobile quarterbacks in a 2-back system now.
Yeah, which we saw Jordan Howard could have gotten them pretty cheap.
I wish you. Hey, if you would have got Le'Veon Bell and put him here with Miles Sanders and make Miles Sanders a true number one, but keep it where it was a split enough. Maybe the Miles Sanders gets 15, Le'Veon Bell gets 10. You know, one of those things. If Doug Pearson has to run the ball, you can give Miles Sanders 20 and 15 to Le'Veon Bell. Doug Pearson doesn't run the ball. What am I talking about?
I'm rooting for Travis Fulgham, though. We'll cover all that tomorrow. We will continue with the coverage specifically for the Eagles and their game plan. We'll be doing that early in the show tomorrow, and then going through all the NFL games and doing our picks for the week. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today on the morning.
Kevin Durant is the best player in basketball. Because you want to keep bringing up LeBron James, I want to make sure you hear about that.
Well, I didn't see him win his 4th Finals MVP this year, but he does have 2. Halfway there.
He does have 2 and 2 Finals MVPs, and he's an MVP and will be a Hall of Famer.
That I can't disagree with.
Alrighty.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.